Alright guys, in this video I am going to show you how to create a histogram graph using a Google Sheets page. So what you need to do is, again, in case you didn't see in the last video, you're going to need to open up a Google Sheets page to enter your data. You can actually use the same page that you used for your last graph. If you don't know how to do that, you just click open your drive, your Google Drive, go into Google Sheets and open up a new page. I've already started my data for this histogram graph, and you'll see it. I've entered it in here. Again, you'll see that all my information that'll go on my x-axis, which is my manipulated or independent variable, is in the left-hand column. Everything that's going on my y-axis, okay, my dependent or responding variable, is in my right-hand column. So what I need to do in order to enter information in for my histogram is I'm going to again select the data here. So I'm just going to click and drag and highlight the information. Again, I'm going to go into Insert Chart, and I'm going to go to Charts and select the the column chart. This graph at the bottom says histogram, but it will give you flawed information in terms of presenting information in a range. If you have raw data that you have not collected for a range, you may use this histogram graph, but in our case we are going to use the column graph. So I'm going to select that and click Insert. Okay, so now I have my graph entered. I'm going to be missing some of the things that are required for a graph. So if I go back to my graphing assignments, I need to have title and label of the axis, make sure I have units, and my equal divisions, and starting the graph at 0. That's something that usually Google Sheets will do automatically, but we'll check that as well. And we need to include a legend. So I'm going to go back to the graph. I'm going to click on this small arrow in the top right hand corner and click Advanced Edit. This will give me a bunch more options in terms of editing my graph. So first things first is we need a chart title. I'm just going to click and highlight this information, and I'm going to say that this data is percentage on an exam. Okay, I'm actually going to say student percentage on an exam. And that should be it for the title. I can just leave it as is and it will edit it. Okay, then you'll see on the right hand side I have a legend here. I am going to ignore that for now. Our legend should just say data series. It's not super relevant that we have a legend actually. So I'm actually going to just get rid of that and say none. Okay, I can change the size of the data to maximize it or reverse it so that you have the different numbers from 100 to 0 instead. I'm going to leave it from 0 to 100. I like that viewing the data that way better. So then I need to add in some axis labels. So first I'm going to label my horizontal axis title, which is scores. Okay, so this I'm going to say student scores, and it's as a percent. So I'm going to make sure I say that because this is kind of like identifying the units. In order to say percent, it isn't just a mark from 40, for example here, from 41 to 50. This is a actual percent. So student scores in percent. And then I need to also label my left vertical axis. So you'll see that my previous edit for the student scores in percent has been saved and changed on the bottom. And then for my left vertical axis, which is my y-axis here, basically what I'm going to say is frequency of students. Okay, this is also number of students, which is also a perfectly good label. Alright, you'll see that I'm able to change the maximum and minimum for both my left vertical and my horizontal. Sorry, in this case not the horizontal, but I do have the ability to change my minimum and maximum frequency. So I can change the maximum value of my y-axis. Now the reason you might want to change this, for example, a bad graph would leave your maximum up to 50, and again this gives your maximum up to 50 up here. And then you have all your data crunched in this bottom portion. So it's much better to keep your data nice and stretched out so that you can see it and you can interpret it a lot better. So I'm going to leave my maximum at about a 20 in this case. So you might want to look at your range to edit that axis and edit that range. Alright, so we have our axis labels, we have our units. We can add extra grid lines in as well. So if you would like to see a greater scale, so for example, you would like to see more lines, you can read the graph a little bit better to get additional data, you can add additional grid lines in to see it better. Alright, we shouldn't need to edit our number format. This is more specific for other types of graphs, so we don't have to worry about that. And again, here we don't need to label this because we've got rid of our legend. So once we click update, all the changes will be saved here. And the only other thing that you might want to do is you should be able to stretch out your table to fit to the space of your page. So that should be it for the histogram graph. And for the other graphs, check out the other videos. Good luck!